Hi, it's Kim, and this is the first of 4 lessons on the prodigal son and the aha experience. This lesson is on the need to wake up. Being the first of the 4 lessons, we don't get too far into the story of the prodigal son. In fact, the only part that we get to is the part that's really grim. It begins with there's a father who has 2 sons. The younger one wants his share of the inheritance. The father divides his wealth between the 2 boys. That younger son takes his share, moves to a distant country, and the story follows him. Now, in that distant country, we find that the young man has wasted his inheritance based on his crazy living, what he's doing, and he takes a very menial job feeding the pigs, something that would be reprehensible to the Jews. And he hasn't got enough food to eat. He would eat what they're feeding the pigs, but he's not allowed to. And that's where our part of the story ends. It's pretty grim. From the outside, from our perspective, looking in at this young guy, we think, are you kidding? Come to your senses, go back home and apologize to your father. It's always easy to see this stuff from the outside. What's hard to see is when you're on the inside. Now, you are on the inside of your life. And I've been thinking, aren't we all probably in a distant country somewhere? In part of our life, aren't we all somewhere we don't really need to be? And we need to wake up. I heard a quote this week. It's by Sir Richard Branson. And it goes, "Don't want what you don't want." That was a little difficult for me to understand. When I had it explained to me a little further, I started phrasing it in my head as, don't pursue what you don't want. Now, here in the parable, we have this young man who knew what he wanted, went where he wanted, did what he wanted, and ended up with nothing like what he had hoped for. He had wanted something that he really didn't want. And for me, I think the application for my life is, what area of my life do I need to wake up in and realize that I'm in a distant country? The most basic questions for me that I think about with my life, and I would like to share with you, are just pause for a moment and think about your life. Think about, in what area are you possibly like this young man? Are you fulfilled with what you're doing? Are you at peace with what you're doing? Are you content? Are you joyful? And if you're not, wow, maybe you've been pursuing something that you really don't want. And it's time to pursue something different. It's sort of a way to wake up. Realize you're in a different country from where you want to be, and make some changes. As long as you're alive, as long as you can make that choice, there's hope that you can reclaim all you wanted and more. So, don't pursue what you don't want.